All right, let's get straight to the point. I don't like where the indices are right now. It's a bit of a confusing 50-50 position. On one hand, I was extremely bullish and I really wanted to see NFP's manipulation here on Friday to be the low for us to continue higher, probably from this bullish fair value gap. On the other hand, we opened up here. This is the new week opening gap. Opened up here and fell off yesterday, creating equal lows that made me think this fair value gap was going to take us lower. Finally we would be able to see the manipulation leg that I was expecting to see for the month, right? Because I wanted to see NFP actually be the one to clear these lows, but NFP surprisingly just pushed up. It didn't even bother manipulating at all, right? So this is what I expected to see this NFP day do before we continued higher. But now we didn't do that. We are going for buy side liquidity. Yes, I am bullish on a higher time frame. The weekly chart is still telling me to be bullish, but I don't like the fact that we're leaving equal lows here. So this area, very sensitive for future price. If indeed we are going to run higher and take out the all-time high, and NASDAQ on the other hand continues to take out new buy side liquidity like this level up here, then eventually of course the other targets up there, right? If NASDAQ continues to do the same and ES continues to do the same, then honestly I'm going to ride with the flow and see what happens. But with the way we are now, I will be paying more attention to the silver bullet hours every day, intraday, trying to maneuver around and try to predict longer term moves, because yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. Tomorrow in the PM session we have FOMC, so we might get some sort of decent price action, maybe a continuation higher to this buy side liquidity, the all-time high, or something else. Then on Thursday, the day after tomorrow, we are getting CPI finally coming out, right? And yeah, anything can happen during CPI. I'm not even going to try and call it direction yet. So let's wait for FOMC minutes to come out tomorrow. It's just the minutes. It's not something aggressive in my opinion. So let's see how that pans out. Then see how CPI prints as well. If CPI continues running higher, then honestly there's no trying to catch the top, right? There's no trying to sell from the tops. And at that point, I'll either trade ES to the 6,000 area or trade NASDAQ to the all-time high, because we still have some room till the all-time high. Unless CPI decides to literally blast all the way to the all-time high, then that would be incredible and I wouldn't know what to do from there. I'd rather just pay attention to other pairs or anything else. Now, speaking of other pairs, something that caught my attention is gold. Gold just traded into the halfway point of a given range. Firstly, it traded into this weekly gap, right? So I'm expecting some sort of weekly internal to external range move, but I'd like to see a lower time frame SMT for me to consider that. I say it's halfway of a given range because when you measure this range from the latest swing low there to the high, that's the 50%, and this is the only PD array that I see in discount. So I see a possibility of price rejecting from here and going to the all-time high, but we would need lower time frame confirmations. By that I mean something like a 4-hour or a 1-hour chart confirming the bullish price action. For example, if we get a closure above this down close candle, that could be a potential order block for us to take price higher, and finally clear all these unswept buy side liquidity levels. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for on gold. Of course, we are a long way to actually create a proper structure, because we would need to disrespect this. We would need a solid structure that says we could actually buy this and take it up, because there's still a possibility of price coming to take one more sell side liquidity before continuing higher, making the low of the week probably tomorrow or something like that. Then lastly, we have the currency pairs. Yesterday I mentioned an SMT at the lows for GU and EU, and we can see that SMT is still holding. The problem is, if you were in this position, I think I had it drawn out. Yeah, if you were in this position where you bought this bullish order block right here because of this SMT divergence at the lows, right, and you set your order, maybe you put your entry there, stop loss there, and you saw price disrespect this CB, continue higher, right, create a swing low here, would you be comfortable seeing how price has been continually closing as it's approaching lower? Of course not. Like, I don't know about you, I don't know what you trade, but I don't think you'll be comfortable seeing us run lower in such a manner, especially considering that these are all hourly candles. So yeah, because of that, also 50-50 here, not too comfortable with this. But $1 pair, dollar major pair that I'm actually comfortable with is surprisingly USDJPY. So on USDJPY, let's start off with the daily time frame, where I have the IPTA data range actually drawn out as well. I'm going to remove this for the sake of it. We can see that here we've taken the 60 days low, taken the 40 days low. We made a new low here in the past quarter, in the past month, technically speaking. And now since then, we've actually been supporting higher prices. We just made a new swing, a higher swing low right here inside of a BC, right? That's a daily imbalance. And now we just created a new imbalance yesterday that we dipped into today, right? As we can see there, dipped into it today. So if you ask me, I believe we'll have a new swing low over here, also inside of a BC, right? Notice how we have this swing low right here, higher swing low than the previous one that was set, right? So I would like to see a higher swing low here, and I would like to see the 40 days high swept, then eventually us possibly tapping into this premium CB. When we go to our lower time frame for confirmation, right? Because maybe you wouldn't blindly enter the BC, but you'd want to wait for a confirmation, and our confirmation time frame is the 1 hour chart. On the 1 hour chart, I did I can't even take all the I can't take all the credit, because the person that made me pay extra attention to this pair was SM, one of the members in the group that I created. So yeah, he pointed out the fact that we dipped down into the 50% mark, and then here during London session at 3 AM we did one more liquidity sweep. One thing that I liked about this liquidity sweep was because after the sweep we ended up closing above this bearish candle, this specific 3 AM candle, the manipulation candle, solid down close candle, right? Now we closed above it right here. We came, the next candle, the very next candle came to retest and bounced off of it. Second thing we did, these equal bodies here, equal bodies of these two candles, you could use them as a possible breaker, and notice how price came and created a swing low exactly by the breaker. So I like how we are disrespecting all these bearish PDRAs, disrespecting all these swing highs, right? And seeing an expansion here. So this might actually be a nice pair to trade during the Asia session, because of course it's USDJPY. The yen part of that pair means yeah, it's an Asia pair. So yeah, an interesting pair to look at, and a possible push to this buy side liquidity. Then going through the buy side liquidity, of course we have the 40 days high that we already marked out up there at the 149.395 level. And of course, if we get really zealous, we can push up there, but this 40 days high is my target. So that makes me basically oppose the idea that I have here on Euro, because in Euro I did mention how I wanted us to push higher now, but here I'm also wanting UJ to push higher. So that's contradictory to the plan, you know, to the main plan. So yeah, but I believe because this is yen specifically, and I'm bullish in yen crosses overall, I think we might still see the higher prices. And when you look at the dollar, you notice we did somewhat of the same thing here. We created an order block at 3 AM, displaced higher, Very next candle came to retest and now pushing up. We did create a fair value gap here, but I don't like how we are consolidating inside of it. If this fair value gap holds and continues pushing higher, then that will support UJ also pushing higher. And if the yen continues losing weakness, then USDJPY for sure will blast off, you know, to the moon. So yeah, that's what I'm expecting long short term. And then yeah, you do know ultimately I'm bearish on dollar, but I would like to see a displacement that completely disrespects this imbalance for me to be bearish. So I think we might get one more manipulation at some point in the week before we see the turnaround. Yeah, that's all I have for now. Stay safe, good luck, and good trading.